Welcome to the weekly video of the EB Sports Report. Sometimes got to groove to something real quick, so. I could let that groove on forever because I'm a huge Gary Clark Jr. fan. And if you haven't got his new record, Black and Blue, go get it. That was the life from it. Okay. So, kind of Laker fans are feeling the life right now because not only did they get in the playoffs, they got the 7th seed, which nobody would have thought a week ago. We were just thinking, okay, let's get in and see what happens. But they got in. So, what's going to happen when they go to San Antonio? Before I get to that, I just have to say that I'm not too thrilled that Mike D'Antoni got Western Conference Coach of the Month, even though the Lakers balled hard this month, because I don't want to give him credit for anything, really. I really don't. I mean, I give him credit for making adjustments, but I rather would say that Kobe did a great job willing this team. Pau Gasol came back off the injury list and had 2 triple-doubles, almost in a way to kind of say, look what I can do for you, D'Antoni. Use me correctly. Steve Blake stepped up. Antoine Jameson stepped up. I want to give credit to those guys because it seems like to me those guys deserve more credit than D'Antoni just coaching the ship. I mean, that's just how I feel. So, congratulations, but not really if you ask me. Anyway, so how are they going to do in San Antonio? I know it's going to be interesting because my aunt's already texted me saying, let's go, let's go. Shouts to my man Rich Nice 2K1. He's already talking mess right now because he's a Spurs fan. So I'm really curious to see how that's going to play out. But I think the Lakers actually have a decent chance. This series could either go 5 games and the Spurs could win, or the Lakers could possibly win this in 6. I'm optimistic because I think it's a more favorable matchup. And the Lakers did just beat the Spurs the other day, albeit with a more hurt Tony Parker who wasn't playing that well. But my question for the series is going to be, can the Lakers stop Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili? I think the post game, the inside game is going to be a wash between Duncan and Gasol, and I think if Dwight can play very well and establish himself, that could be an X factor too. But I really think the X factor is going to be, can the Lakers find a way to stop Manu and Tony Parker? Because if they can't stop the two of them, this series is over because Tony Parker's the glue for the Spurs. He's had an MVP caliber season. He's had a 4th place MVP caliber season, or 3rd place if you want to be kind. But he's had a phenomenal season, and I think that it's going to be really interesting to see what he can do against the Lakers with their deficiencies guarding the perimeter. I think that if Earl Clark can step up, he versus Kawhi Leonard will be a great matchup of good young players who can find ways to contribute. And I think that that's going to be a very cool thing to see them too. But I respect the Spurs a lot. They have a great mix of veterans and youth. They're kind of like always weird money because they have the talent to go number one, to go all the way, but for some reason they just can't. For some reason, something gets in their way. So I think the Lakers do have a good chance. I think Steve Blake has to continue to play well. He has to come off the bench and continue to find ways to score and run the offense and set things up. So I think it's going to be really interesting. I think the Lakers can make this a good series. I think the tone's going to be set in Game 1 down there. I think the Lakers have to play well on the road. I don't think they're going to probably win Game 1 on Sunday, but if they play well and set the tone and say, hey, it's going to be a tough series for the Spurs, then so be it. But I think that's going to be key because the Lakers, we know, aren't a great road team, and I think that's going to be tested. They have to at least win 1 game in San Antonio. And I'm not sure if they can, I'm not sure if they will, but they can. So we'll see what happens. And finally, I want to just say that making the playoffs this season, this has been probably the hardest Lakers season I've seen since 2004 2005 when everybody left and Kobe and the guys had to do, had Rudy Tomjanovich and he got left midseason. They didn't make the playoffs. It's probably been the most difficult season since then. And somehow the Lakers are one of the last 8 teams staying in the Western Conference. They've survived a coaching change. They survived injuries to Steve Nash, to Pau, and now Kobe, obviously. They survived the death of Jerry Buss, who has been the lifeblood of this team. They survived being one of the worst road teams as far as like a good team should be. They've been a very terrible road team. They survived all of that. and yet they've still been able to make the playoffs in the 7th position. I have to be honest. I thought the season was going to be a lot better. I thought they were going to contend for a little bit more, but you know what? I'm okay. I'm okay. Like Bomani Jones always said about the Lakers, we are who we are. This is what we are right now. And if you're a Lakers fan, you can't say, well, we should have been better. It's like, look, things didn't work out that way. We're still one of the 8 teams that still get to keep playing. There could be other teams right now who should be playing right now, but they're not. So deal with it, own it, and this is what we are. You know, it's been a tough season, but it still continues, and that's all I can ask for right now. There was news today that Mike D'Antoni will probably be coaching the team next year. And let me get closer when I say this. I'm not thrilled about that, considering it may be Kobe's last season. But I'll worry about that when the playoffs are over. Yeah. So, we got at least 5 games against San Antonio, I think. It may go 6. But I think the Lakers have a chance to win. I think San Antonio's youth could be a factor, but I also think the Lakers have a right mix of guys who can contribute, and they finally know how to play together a little bit. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens in Game 2. Game 1 is going to be where the tone is set, but how will the Lakers respond in Game 2, I think, could also be important as well. So keep that in mind. I'm going to talk some more about this on a podcast I'm doing with my guy Paris, so I'm going to post that link on the EB Sports Report later, probably tonight or Friday morning. We're going to talk about this a little bit more. But, hey, we're in the playoffs. It may not be where you want to be, but you're in there. And that's all you can ask for. So, with that said, enjoy your Thursday. Enjoy Gary Clark. Peace.
Just getting high.